Hello, my name is Richard the Dungeon Crawler. On a previous adventure, we went over the Robotech role-playing game book, which I bought at a San Diego Comic-Con in the 80s. Today, we're going to go over the Robotech Masters, which introduces 3 new mecha. Then we'll go over the Return of the Masters adventure book. This adventure takes place after the series, so a depleted Robotech Defense Force must fight their way through Zentradi, Robotech Masters, and Invid. If you're interested in this adventure, then please step inside my dungeon. Reading the book for the first time, the skills and education area really stood out to me. These seem like the same exact skills from the original series, from the original books, so I'm not really sure why they reprinted it here, since the rest of the character creation isn't there. I think it would have been better just to make a few new skills than that cut and paste job the book did. In the Robotech Master book, there's 15 new OCC skills or occupational character classes. This might seem like a lot, but I actually only played a few of the classes. I liked the Global Military Police. This would be the OCC for Nova Satori. I liked that character much better than the annoying Dana Sterling, and they also have some of the best looking armor in the game. The Tactical Armored Space Corps is an important OCC. This OCC can pilot 2 of the 3 new mechs, so if you want to pilot the Logan or the Ajax, this would be a good choice. The Alpha Tactical Armored Corps are drivers of the Veritech tank, so if you want to do some damage with that main gun, I would choose this OCC. These are just some of the OCCs I used, but there are quite a bit more. Many of them specialize in fighting in specific climates. There's a hot weather, a cold weather, and even a mountainous squad, with their armor comes equipped with tow lines and grappling hooks. I used a few of these OCCs as non-playing characters, but let me know in the comments if you ever played any of these OCCs, and how were they? Come to think of it, I really don't remember these type of characters in the series. I do remember some flashes of weird armor and Battloids, so that must have been them. Maybe it would have been better just to have a few new OCCs. They could have had mecha combat specialization. So remember Louis? He was a nerdy guy with glasses. Maybe he could get bonuses to his teammates. Or Angelo, he was the big mean dude. Maybe he could get bonuses for using the main gun. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think if you've played these OCCs as written, or give me some homebrew ideas. When I bought the book, I couldn't wait to read the mecha section. That was the main reason why I bought the book. So on the car ride home, I started reading. The Logan was originally my least favorite mecha in the entire series. I really didn't like that kind of chunky bathtub-looking design, especially after the first season when the Veritechs were based off the F-14. Playing the Logan in the game really surprised me. I really liked it. It does only have 2 modes, a jet fighter mode and a Guardian mode, so no Battloid mode, and that kind of sucks. The little fighter can only carry a few missiles, but the other weapons are solid. They do a good amount of damage and have unlimited amount of ammo, so that's important in long fights. Next up is my favorite mecha from the series. This was the Ajax helicopter. It also has a jet mode and a Battloid mode. It could sustain 250 mega damage capacity, but no arm shields. Last up is the Transformable Mecha Tank. This really wasn't my favorite since I was into aviation at the time, but this has 3 modes. A Battloid mode, a Guardian mode, which is actually a tank, and then a transport mode, which is used for high-speed transport. The tank doesn't have missiles, but its main cannon can truly wreck. One hit can destroy a standard Battloid, or it could leave a red Battloid commander pretty crippled. In Battloid mode, they are pretty slow. The Robotech Masters Battloids have a running speed of almost twice that of the tank. I'm not sure if that's a mistake, because in the anime, they didn't seem that sluggish. Let me know in the comments if you played any of these 3 mecha, and which one is your favorite. I did like the GMP security robot. This was kind of a joke in the series, since it could so easily be outmaneuvered. It had a running speed of 35 miles, which is actually the same as the hover tank. But it couldn't carry any of the standard mecha rifles, so it would make a great backup for my party. The Robotech Masters section was even smaller than the Zentradi section in the first book. I thought they were the weakest villain in comparison to the Zentradi and the Invid, mostly because there wasn't much differences between the Bioroids other than their color and helmet design. I did like the cockpit design though. They sit in these tiny little pods, but they control the Bioroids with their thought, so they actually don't feel cramped. What really levels up the Robotech Masters is the hover sled. It's fast and packs powerful weapons. It really makes them devastating in combat. Overall, I really enjoyed this rule set. For the stats alone, it was well worth the price. I really wasn't sure about the Return of the Masters book when it came out. The cover has a pincer commander fighting an alpha and no Robotech Master in sight. I mostly bought it because then, and probably now, there just isn't a lot of Robotech merch available. So I bought it and I immediately started reading. It takes place after the New Generation series. The Invid left Earth after an epic battle. The RDF won, but their forces were shattered. The book states that 89% of the RDF forces were destroyed. Mysteriously, the Invid returned to subjugate the Earth with only 1/4 of their original forces. The players are part of Overwatch, which is a group of remnants of the RDF which are still fighting a good fight. The players are assigned to investigate rumors of the Robotech Master Base somewhere in the jungles of Southeast Asia. This is the start of the adventure. There will be a spoiler alert now. I will be discussing some of the elements of the Return of the Masters adventure. One section, which I never really got, was the Mecha Sudai section. The players wander into a dive bar and they discover illegal pit fighting. Full-size Zentradi and Mecha fight in hand-to-hand battles. Since Mecha feel the impact of attacks, Mecha pilots need to wear a Mecha feedback device. Every 5 MDC of damage, the pilot will need to roll a 1d6 of structural damage capacity. It is even possible to break bones in battle. If this happens, the players will need to be in a cast for several weeks to recover. It's even possible for players to die during combat. After a long trek through the jungle, players will discover a half-buried Zentradi destroyer. When they get closer, they will see crack Zentradi and Robotech Master forces. On closer investigation, they'll find a dampening field, so the destroyer is very much operational. The party learns that a Robotech factory is folding close to the moon. Do you remember the Robotech factory from the series? This is the one that Rick and Britai captured in the later part of the series. A Robotech factory can create and repair mecha, so the race is on to steal or destroy the factory. With the help of Overwatch, the party can sneak on to the Robotech factory. But this is no regular Robotech factory. This indeed is a super Robotech factory, which is much larger than the one in the original series. At this point, this adventure becomes a dungeon crawl, so the players must sneak around and fight hordes of drones controlled by an AI. The Invid also detect the Super Robotech factory, and they send their forces to take the factory. This adventure becomes mass chaos, with different factions all fighting to claim the Robotech factory. Overall, what did I think about this adventure? Well, I never ran it back in the day, because as you noticed, there's a lot of moving parts, and I really wasn't sure how to handle it at that time. To run this adventure, as written, players would need to hack their way through a jungle, explore a Genesis pit, track down a coded signal to a landing ship, stop Overwatch from getting destroyed, take control of a Zentradi destroyer, sneak into the Robotech factory, take control of the Robotech factory, and finally fight off both the Invid and Robotech Masters all at the same time. As you see, this could be a pretty tough adventure to run. I did rip it off for many of the elements though. The overall jungle setting, I used kind of like Apocalypse Now. I had my players investigate the jungle on boats using only their cyclones. Turned out pretty good. Let me know in the comments if you ran this adventure as written, because you deserve an award for being a top-notch Palladium Game Master. Thanks for sticking with me and listening all the way through. If you made it all the way, how about giving me a like? It would definitely help the channel. Next up, I'm working on an Invid invasion breakdown. So if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed. It'll help me bring new content to our community. And I'll see everybody on the next dungeon crawl.